What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'm going to show you how to turn one of these and some trash into this. So what I'm starting with is some random wood from work and then a bunch of boxes that I've been saving over past month or so. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to start putting the boxes up here. Some people like to draw it out, like I want like a mountain over here, or I want, my water right here. I'm just going to put it up there and then see where it takes me. So let's do it. You ready? Mm-hmm. All right, let's get the boxes up here. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of laying these boxes up here, kind of, just kind of like I would like to have it. This isn't going to be a competition table or anything like that, but I'm just trying to make it where what looks fun. So I've got this big classic auto air box that is really what I'm looking for. So I kind of want some obstacles that are eye level. I feel like that would be super cool. That way you can be up here, messing with your RC car, right in front of your face. But so that's kind of what I'm looking for. So now I'm going to try to get some boxes, where you can obviously come up this and then come down this and then have some fun up here. So let's see what I can come up with. And I apologize for the wind noise. This metal shop and this wind, it is super noisy in here, so I apologize about that. But I'll kind of show you where my head is at on how I want this to be lined up. So in my mind, I feel like this would be a cool starting point, like right here, just like I have on my other one. Start right here. These are just kind of late here right now, but I do know I want where you can come up right here, come up the pizza box, come up right here, and then if you wanted to bank off that, that'd be cool. And then come down and then go up this incline here, go up where you actually have to spin around and come back down. Or I may end up making some kind of bridge or something right here, like a hard line. But all right, let's get back working. Alright, so now that I've got pretty much the baseline of where I want my boxes and everything, I'm going to start using the great stuff, gaps and cracks. And what I'm going to do is I just like to put a baseline around it, and then what I'll do is start painting and then maybe use some other stuff. But right now I'm just going to make it so where, like, if the kids bump into the table, like, the boxes don't just fly around. Alright, so if you never use this stuff, you just twist on, you shake it, and then you twist that on, and then what you do is you just start, it's kind of like a welder. There we go. It's kind of rough at first, but it's like right here. Oh God, it's all on the floor.
This is kind of
All right, so now that I've got the boxes pretty much where they're gonna be with the foam, before this foam starts drying completely, I'm gonna take this, it's like a paper mache type stuff. I don't know, I found it on Amazon. It looks like it's bandages. I don't know, but so we're gonna try to find this out. Take my watch off. So it looks like what we do is just soak this in water and then we'll lay it down. So like right here, let me get you turned. Like right here, I want to make this like a little mountain where you can come up like this and it's not such a sharp edge. So I'm gonna put this in a bucket of water and see what we can do. All right, so I'll show you how I'm doing this, these bandage things. So don't do what I did and just go ahead and throw this whole thing in there because it is a huge pain in the butt. That was really dumb. But what I'm doing is I'm cutting this into strips and about maybe 1.5 feet long, and just laying them on the ground. And I'm not putting them in the water until I need them. So what I did first couple of times was I'd cut them and then throw them into the bucket of water and let them soak. But then I noticed they started sticking together and it was just a huge nightmare. So like I said, what you do is you just stick them in there just like that, put them underwater, and then they come up perfect. But if you put them in there together, they get all tangled up with each other and it's a huge pain in the butt. So just a little tip, just in case you've never worked with this stuff, like I've never worked with this stuff before. So what I'm working on right here, where I'm putting all these bandages on, I'm trying to make like a hot tub, so to speak, like right in here. So kind of like a hard line we can drop in or try to come out of, just something kind of challenging. So you've kind of got like a bypass for it right here. And that's what I kind of like on these courses, is like, you know, a hard line and then like a bypass right beside it. So like if my kids are on this table, they don't have to go through this hot tub right here. They can just go around it very simply. So it's kind of the best for everybody. All right, so I'll give you a little update of what I've got going on. So I did use that whole pack of the paper mache, resin, bandage, whatever you want to call it. And what I kind of did is I made it to where it's kind of obvious to where the track is, you know, the scheme that I'm looking for. Like I said, this is the hot tub that I'm calling it right here. But what I did is I did the foam first. That way when I put the paper mache down, it kind of gave it some character. You see, like right in here, it's not just flat, you know, it does have some texture behind it. So, and I will be doing some more foam, but I still like to get my base down first. But I'm gonna let this dry and we'll check back to it. Everything's starting to dry exactly where it's gonna be. Some of this foam is wet, I just sprayed it, but I'm pretty pleased with it. So something cool that I accidentally discovered is that if you break the tip off this spray goop, or the gaps and cracks, it just kind of comes out like a machine gun, and it kind of gives you this cool kind of textured effect. And I think that'll be really nice when you're climbing this. It kind of give you, you know, some definition to the table, and then it'll also give you some traction going up. So I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So like I said, I just accidentally broke the tip off and then I sprayed it because I was kind of mad, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. So kind of like that. It kind of gives it like a rougher texture, but I kind of do some up here. Kind of like that. So now I'll do a little bit on this. Everything on here is pretty dry, and I'm pretty happy with it. So now what I'm going to do is, just like I did on my other table, I'm just going to take some Rust-Oleum gray and start just spraying everything so it kind of gives a rock effect. And I'll probably put it on a time lapse or something, that way you don't have to sit here and watch me paint this whole thing. I did paint some right here, just kind of a test, so that's kind of what I'm going for right there. This is just the first coat, but you can already tell it's going to look just fine. So the first light coat of paint turned into the final first thick coat of paint. I'm pretty pleased with it. So what I'll do is I'll put some kind of something on these eventually to make it look good. Maybe like a sign or some stickers or something like that. But so my plan is I'm gonna make this my water, like water. I'm just gonna paint all of this blue, and then I'm gonna come up with some kind of bridge that connects these two right here. I always like flat surfaces on tables, that way if you got to, work on something, you can just pop the bridge out and, fix something real quick, tighten something up. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with it so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, I'll start doing the final touches on the paint. And I'll show you that tomorrow, but it'll be a couple of seconds for you. Alright, so it's the next night, and I did run my little RC car over it, and I noticed right away that some of that plaster where I painted over it, where the tires were spinning, kind of became chalky, but it'll be alright. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take some of this liquid rubber coating in a paintbrush, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here. So what I like to do is just kind of just roughly put it up there. I gotta stir it. Whoops. And you don't need a lot on your brush, but this is what I do just to kind of give it that rocky effect. Snow, I don't know. It just kind of gives it a little more definition. And what's cool about this rubber coating is it gives the tires on the RC cars just a little more traction. There's really not a science to this. I'm just kind of just doing my thing. You don't even have to do this to yours if you don't want to, but I guess I'm kind of overachieving on it, but see, doesn't it look so cool? So you can kind of see what it looks like before and after. Just kind of gives it a neat little effect. So I'm going to go ahead and do this whole course with this. And this stuff takes a while to dry. On the other table, even after like 24 hours, there were some spots that were kind of sticky. I got all of the white paint on, and I did mess up in a couple spots, but it'd be alright. But that's pretty much the gist of it. So it just kind of highlights the terrain, I guess is how you say it. So now what I'm gonna do is, you see I put some little, I went through the yard, me and my son Easton went through the yard and got just some sticks, some dead branches, and kind of took them off. I got a little pile right here. But I do want to do kind of like a log section, so I'm thinking right here I'm gonna cut down some wood and kind of make this like, you know, like a log path. I kind of like those. So that's what we're gonna do now. And there's not really any rhyme or reason to these. I just think it looks kind of cool. Like I said, there's not really any science behind any of this. It's just kind of trying to replicate what you would see in the mountains. And what I'm doing now is just breaking some sticks just to kind of fill in some spaces right here. But I think it looks cool. In order to try to keep these logs from not going anywhere, like, you know, you don't want somebody to come up here and spin and then the logs are just flying everywhere, I'm going to try this Gorilla Glue right here, and I'm just going to try to do the best. This does dry clear, so let's see. Alright, I did get a little crazy with the glue. I did have to go over with a brush, but hopefully it'll dry like it's supposed to. If not, we'll put some other type of glue on it. But now, since I'm waiting for all the white paint to dry, I'm going to start with my shrubbery. I'm going to do multiple bags, but this is the only one that came in. So what I like to do with the trees is I just kind of like to make a border, because you definitely don't want the trees getting in the way of the course, but I don't know, it just kind of adds something to it for me. So what's really cool about these is with the foam, you can just pop them anywhere, and if you don't like that spot, take it right out, move it somewhere else. So if it ever gets in your way or something, or you want to try a different line, just pop it out and put it somewhere else. So there's really no right or wrong with these. And I'll show you something else. So my buddy Steven, he gave me this out of his old, I think it was a turtle aquarium or something. So I'm gonna put this on the course somewhere. I don't know, it looks pretty cool. I might put it like right there or something. That way you kind of have like a hard line coming out of the hot tub or something like that. But I don't know, I like it. I don't know what it is, but I like it. So now we'll start putting these trees, maybe like right here or something. Ugh, drop one. Let's see. And I do have some like shrubbery. I'll show you all that later on. But you can put like a random one like right here or something. I don't know. I like the trees. They make me happy. I feel like Bob Ross. We're gonna put a happy little tree right here. Come over here, put one right there, and just random trees. And they do look kind of random, but like when you put that shrubbery around them, like the greenery, it definitely complements everything. But you can see, like, just putting just a little bit of greenery starting to liven this up. So kind of make like a little group right here. And another good thing about the trees is it kind of helps, you know, people from like driving off the side of it. You know, because these will somewhat stop an RC car. Here is the shrubbery that I'm going to be using. It does look like a pound of weed, but it's a little cheaper. But it just comes pressed in, and what you do is you just pull it out and fluff it up how you want to. And I'll be using some kind of glue, but I probably have too much. So what you would do is just kind of fluff it up and glue it down right there. Stuff like that. That looks terrible. But just kind of add some different characteristics to it. But look at that. Look at those trees. Those are nice trees. I like my trees. Alright, so I came over to my dad's woodworking shop. I'm into Jeeps and metal. He's into wood, obviously. So what I'm going to be doing is me and my dad are going to be making a bridge, a swinging bridge. It's going to be 20, I think it's 28 inches long, and it's going to be 6 inches wide. So it's going to be pretty narrow. It's going to be pretty technical to go on. But so what we're planning on doing right now is just drilling holes in these 6-inch pieces of wood, and then we're going to run some string through it, and then to keep them separate we're going to be using this heat shrink stuff right here, you know, just to kind of keep them spaced out like they're supposed to be. I've seen where some people tie knots, but I don't know, I feel like the heat shrink in between it, you know, we're not going to shrink it down, but we're just going to try it out, see what it looks like, and I'll let you know. Alright, so while he's drilling the holes in these boards right here, I'm going to start staining them with just some random wood finish that he had. So what I'm going to start doing is just I'm going to take a little shop rag and start just rubbing down on these boards right here, and it'll make them look a heck of a lot better than they would be just like this. Like I said, could be overachieving, but if you ain't staining, you ain't gaining. Oh, I hear you, Bill. All right. So now that we got the pieces of wood stained and dried, what my dad is doing here is he is kind of threading them through and then sticking little pieces of heat shrink inside or in between the two pieces of wood to kind of make it like a rope bridge. And what he did was he put a piece of tape over the end, that way he can send it right through a little bit easier than you know, this kind of rope material here. So we're going to work on getting this together and hopefully get it on the table tonight or tomorrow. Me and my dad have all the rope and the heat shrink in between them, And we just put that heat and shrink in there, that way these won't squeeze together. And we didn't shrink them down, we just used them as kind of like a filler. But like I said, this is maybe not the right way to do it. This is just the way that we did it, and so far it's working. So now we're actually going to take it to the table and see what it looks like on the table. So it is a rainy Friday night in the shop, and me and Easton are working on getting this table wrapped up. What we have done so far, we have got the bridge mounted, and all I did was I took it's still wet. I took a drill, a hole saw, and opened these up all the way to the bottom here. And then obviously I wrapped that with rope to kind of give it an old school look. And then right here is I did the same thing. I just drilled this open, put the same size wood as this all the way to the bottom, ran screws underneath it to hold it, and then I ran screws through the side, and then I put wood glue, and then I put some grass to kind of cover the screws. So it kind of gives it like a kind of off camber as you're entering the bridge. And then of course I didn't line it up just because I kind of wanted to make it look like an old school bridge that's about to fall. Probably because this is an old school bridge that's about to fall. But anyway, so what I'm going to get Easton to do now is I'm going to get him to paint the water right here. So that's what Easton is going to do now. You ready, Easton?
Yep.
All right. Got the water all painted thanks to Easton. So what I'm working on now is I got some cedar right here that kind of making another little log obstacle. So what I'm using is this Gorilla Max Strength stuff at Lowe's. And see, what I did was I kind of just did some beads, like I'm welding. I just did some runs of glue right here where all the logs meet. And so I don't have just random glue on here. I'm going to take some of this fake grass and put along just to kind of conceal where I have glue. And I do realize that, you know, running over this grass is going to end up tearing it up, but realistically, who cares? I mean, it's a RC table. All right, so just kind of tearing it apart. I'm just going to kind of just put a happy little bush right there. Put another happy little bush. And you don't have to put a lot. This stuff goes a long way. And that's pretty much it. I'll put some in between it. Right there. What you think, Easton?
Yep.
It kind of looks like it just hasn't ever been driven on before, which is pretty cool to me. So hopefully this will dry by tomorrow. And then, like, if there's any extra, like, I'm sure this isn't going to stick. I'll probably just pull it off and go ahead and get it out of the way. But for right now, I'm going to leave it. And this dried beautifully. I'm very surprised at that. Like, you wiggle this, the whole table shakes. It's pretty cool, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
Tough stuff.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next thing. I got an update. So I went all around the course and glued on the grass, and I don't think it looks that bad. It does look like I have drug paraphernalia sprinkled all over my course, so that's pretty cool. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some brown paint and a paintbrush, and I'm going to paint along the bottom here just to kind of give it an earthy look, I guess. And I'm going to start painting some of these crevices in here, like, you know, like tires bringing mud around. I'll probably do another time lapse with that. But I think it's turning out really nice. There's Easton's deadbolt right there that me and him built. It's pretty cool. He likes it. It's pretty wobbly. But everything's looking the way I wanted to. And I did glue some crabs on here, and there's a snail. The kids wanted to put the little animals on there, and I didn't want to, so we compromised and we put the animals on there. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate y'all watching me and the kids put together this table for our RC crawlers. If you have any questions on the table, be sure to leave them in the comments. Or if you have any suggestions of anything or any courses that you would like to see, also drop them in the comments. But anyway, I really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.